Welcome to Charette Theory. Today, we're diving into a vibrant world of color, curves, and creative design, where the freshness of spring meets the bold spirit of postmodernism. And it's all about transforming your living room into a whimsical, energetic, and artful space that truly comes alive in the spring season. Postmodern design is all about rejecting minimalism in favor of bold forms, saturated color, geometric pattern, and irony. Combine that with spring's signature freshness, and you've got a perfect recipe for an inspiring interior. Whether you're redecorating your entire space or just adding seasonal touches, this episode will walk you through every detail. Let's begin by exploring the colors that define this look. Spring naturally calls for soft colors: mint, peach, baby blue, and soft yellow. These hues evoke the freshness of blooming flowers, the clarity of morning skies, and the gentle awakening of the season. They create a calming foundation, like a visual breath of fresh air, that sets the stage for renewal and creativity in your living room. But postmodernism invites us to go further. It thrives on contrast, irony, and visual surprise. Instead of keeping the palette purely pastel, we elevate those soft shades with bold, saturated accents like magenta, teal, and tangerine. This unexpected duality, between delicate and daring, infuses your space with playful tension and layered personality. It's about letting your decor break the rules just enough to feel fun and alive. Imagine a mint green wall as your canvas, soft and tranquil. Against it, place a curved modular sofa in soft yellow, then throw in a couple of bold tangerine cushions for a jolt of energy. Across the room, hang baby blue sheer curtains that catch the sunlight, letting it filter in gently. Nearby, a magenta armchair creates a vivid focal point, bold and unapologetic. These choices don't fight for attention, they dance. Postmodern interiors are never passive. Every piece should feel like it's in on the fun. A teal side table next to a peach-toned rug can introduce just the right amount of pop. Add a glossy white planter in a sculptural shape, and suddenly even white becomes a visual statement rather than a background filler. Glossy finishes amplify light and reflect surrounding color, making the space feel dynamic throughout the day. Think of your color palette as a dialogue, not a hierarchy. Let soft tones speak in soothing whispers while the bold ones chime in with confidence. A coral picture frame on a pastel green wall, or a cobalt blue vase on a pale yellow console, each of these pairings tells a small story. And the best part? Spring light enhances everything. It brings out the creamy richness of pastels and the vibrancy of saturated colors. By embracing this spectrum, from delicate to dramatic, you create a living room that mirrors the season itself, full of new life, unexpected beauty, and expressive charm. postmodern approach to color is about defying the expected and embracing the art of surprise. It's a design philosophy that laughs at strict rules and celebrates freedom, especially when it comes to color. Pink with green? Absolutely. Peach with cobalt? Delightful. Lilac next to tangerine? Even better. These unexpected combinations evoke joy, provoke curiosity, and challenge the eye to reconsider what feels right. In spring, when the natural world is full of spontaneous color, buds blooming beside moss, wildflowers growing in untamed mixes, this creative spirit feels especially at home. Rather than relying solely on traditional color theory or staying safely within analogous hues, postmodern interiors invite you to lean into contrasts that buzz with tension and personality. Where modernism might favor restraint and balance, postmodernism wants exuberance and character. A mint green armchair beneath a bold orange wall hanging doesn't just sit in the room, it starts a conversation. Use a color wheel, yes, but treat it more like a jumping-off point than a boundary. Instead of seeking harmony and symmetry, explore how clashing tones can coexist and create visual excitement. Think about contrast, a pale yellow sofa next to an electric teal coffee table. Think about saturation, a dusty rose wall that plays off a richly pigmented chartreuse lamp. And most importantly, think about mood, how these colors make you feel as the spring light shifts throughout the day. Natural light is your co-creator. Morning sunshine might make your peach curtains glow softly, while evening light deepens the cobalt in your rug. Allow your intuition to guide you. If a pairing makes you pause and smile, you're on the right track. Postmodern design is inherently personal, an invitation to show your quirks, your humor, your boldness. Layer in color thoughtfully. Start with a base of pastels to establish a calm atmosphere, then introduce bolder shades in layers. Throw pillows, vases, lamps, artwork, even book covers. The goal isn't to overwhelm but to delight, through contrast, cleverness, and the unexpected. In a postmodern spring interior, color is more than a design tool. It's an attitude, a statement, a celebration. Let it echo the season's vitality and your own creative flair. Furniture becomes art in a postmodern spring interior, not just functional necessities, but expressive forms that shape the character of the room. It's where sculpture and utility blend, where design dares to be emotional, humorous, and a little bit rebellious. Look for curved lines, exaggerated proportions, and playful silhouettes that feel like they were plucked from a dream or an abstract painting. These are not pieces that blend quietly into the background, they stand out, and they want to be noticed. Picture a tubular armchair in soft lavender, its frame rounded like inflated piping, inviting you to sink in with a smile. Or imagine a coral-colored blob sofa, curving in organic waves like a melting cloud, its surface soft and tactile, practically begging to be lounged on. A kidney-shaped coffee table in glossy lemon yellow sits in front, its asymmetrical form catching the light and reflecting the room's playful palette. These forms break the rigid geometry of traditional design, replacing clean lines with fluidity, comfort, and joyful surprise. Each piece becomes a character in the room, bold, light-hearted, and self-assured. A chunky side table might resemble a building block from a toy set. A shelf could zigzag like lightning, or a chair might look like it belongs in a cartoon. These forms evoke comfort and curiosity, combining soft edges with eye-catching personality. They suggest ease and relaxation, but they also make you pause and admire. Postmodern furniture is often deliberately oversized or comically stylized, with an underlying wink of irony. It's not just about looking beautiful, it's about expressing attitude. In a spring setting, this expressive quality harmonizes with the season's sense of awakening and reinvention. The whimsical forms echo the irregular beauty of blossoming flowers and winding garden paths. Tactility is just as important as shape. Materials like velvet, matte rubber, and lacquered surfaces invite touch. Imagine the cool smoothness of a high-gloss table surface under your fingertips or the comforting plush of a curvy buccal armchair. These contrasts between soft and sleek, between organic and synthetic, create an atmosphere that feels both stimulating and cozy. In the postmodern spring living room, furniture isn't just arranged, it performs. It energizes the space with personality and presence. Whether vintage, custom-made, or cleverly DIY'd, these statement pieces help your interior tell a story that's as unexpected and joyful as spring itself. Postmodern design unapologetically embraces the artificial, celebrating materials that shimmer, gleam, and reflect. In a spring-themed interior, these shiny surfaces become allies of the light. Lacquered side tables, laminate shelving, and mold plastic chairs in high-gloss finishes don't just furnish the room, they animate it. As sunlight pours through windows, these materials bounce light across the space, creating gleaming highlights that shift throughout the day. It's a room that doesn't sit still, it glows, it shines, it plays. Lacquered furniture, with its candle-like sheen, becomes an instant focal point. Try a powder blue sideboard with a mirror finish lacquer that reflects nearby pastel tones. Or opt for a tangerine console with chrome-like luster that brightens even the cloudiest morning. Laminate, once considered lowbrow, is reborn here as a design statement, especially in graphic patterns or bold colors. A wavy bookshelf in teal laminate, for example, can bring both structure and flair. And mold plastic chairs, iconic in their own right, work beautifully in this context, especially in transparent or semi-opaque tints like lavender, bubblegum pink, or smoky yellow. These surfaces don't just catch light, they reflect color, movement, and energy. When the spring sun hits a glossy cabinet or a plastic table leg, it creates a kind of kinetic art, shifting with the time of day and bringing new energy to the space. But with all that shine, there's a risk of going overboard, so balance becomes essential. Too many glossy surfaces can feel sterile or overwhelming. The solution? Contrast them with natural or matte textures. Soften a lacquered coffee table by placing a buccal ottoman beside it. Pair a shiny mold chair with a linen throw. Break up a glossy wall unit with a woven basket or a ceramic planter. Use soft textiles, cotton, wool, jute, as grounding elements that anchor the artificial sheen and prevent the room from feeling too cold or futuristic. Spring offers the perfect excuse to blend the synthetic with the organic. The key is tension between smooth and rough, bold and muted, cool and warm. Let the artificial surfaces sparkle and dance in the sunlight, while the natural ones bring the calming rhythm of earthiness. When done right, this mix captures the full spirit of postmodernism, clever, expressive, and full of contrast. Look to icons like Charette and the Memphis group for bold and unapologetic inspiration. Their radical designs from the 1980s broke every conventional rule in the book on purpose. They replaced minimalism with color, geometry, and irony, introducing a new kind of visual language that was both architectural and whimsical. Their furniture wasn't just meant to be used, it was meant to provoke, to entertain, and to delight. Chartreuse' most famous works, like the Carlton room divider or the Tahiti lamp, embrace childlike color combinations, clashing patterns, and surreal forms. They feel almost animated, as if lifted from a drawing and made real. These pieces represent the core of postmodern visual rebellion, rejecting seriousness in favor of bold self-expression. Of course, owning original Memphis pieces may be out of reach for many, but that doesn't mean the aesthetic is. There's a growing market for inspired reproductions, vintage lookalikes, and DIY alternatives that channel the same energy. Think zigzagging bookshelves in bright blues and reds, asymmetrical console tables with contrasting drawers, or striped ottomans in neon green and black. Even a laminate side table with a checkerboard top or a mirror with bold geometric inlays can capture that iconic Memphis mood. And here's the liberating part: these pieces don't need to match. In fact, they're not supposed to. Postmodern design thrives on eclecticism, on the tension between clashing colors, unlikely forms, and contrasting materials. A chunky orange plastic chair next to a marbled side table with gold legs? Perfect. A teal metal lamp beside a terrazzo console? Even better. The charm lies in the unexpected. The Memphis look is deeply expressive, deeply playful, and completely unconcerned with trends. It allows your living room to feel like a curated collection of ideas, memories, and visual experiments. By choosing just a few iconic pieces or inspired replicas, you can pay homage to a revolutionary design movement while infusing your spring space with spirit, humor, and artistic bravado. Let your living room be a gallery, not of perfection, but of personality. Lighting is crucial to any design, but in a postmodern spring interior, it evolves beyond function into sculpture, storytelling, and spectacle. Light isn't just something that fills the room, it's something you notice, admire, and interact with. The fixture itself becomes a statement. It challenges the eye and excites the senses, echoing the playful rebellion that defines postmodernism while enhancing the seasonal glow of spring. Think of a globe-shaped table lamp, not just as a light source, but as a glowing orb of design history, its smooth surface catching the morning light, its gentle curvature complementing nearby soft forms. Or imagine a zigzag floor lamp in candy-colored plastic, stretching upward like a lightning bolt frozen in time, its geometric stance bringing vertical drama to the space. A neon tube sign, spelling out a quirky phrase like "Hello Sunshine" or simply a symbol like a squiggle or heart, adds a dose of humor and joy. These aren't just lights. They're moments of delight. Now add layers. Consider a retro glass chandelier suspended like a floating sculpture, perhaps in a soft pastel pink or lavender, echoing spring blossoms and refracting light like a prism. It might be a vintage Murano-style piece or a playful reproduction, glowing softly above a curved seating arrangement. On the walls, install acrylic sconces in saturated hues, amber, turquoise, mint, whose edges catch the light like candy. The transparency of the material allows the light to pass through gently, casting subtle color onto nearby surfaces. Postmodern lighting loves irony and exaggeration, so don't be afraid of odd proportions or unexpected materials. A lamp shaped like a crayon or a mushroom, a sconce with a swirled lucite base, or a pendant light that resembles an abstract mobile, these are all fair game. The key is that each piece should double as art. Whether lit or unlit, it should hold its own in the room, creating visual interest even in the daylight. The beauty of this approach is that it blends whimsy with warmth. In spring, when natural light floods in, your sculptural lighting interacts with sunlight, casting shadows, bouncing reflections, and layering the room in brightness and personality. As the sun sets, these pieces transform again, creating pools of cozy illumination and new focal points. In a postmodern spring living room, lighting isn't just about visibility, it's about visibility with flair. It's your chance to turn the ordinary act of flipping a switch into a theatrical, joyful gesture. This is where the word glow in our title truly comes alive. Spring's natural light has a unique quality, soft, golden, and full of warmth, like sunshine filtered through young leaves. It's not harsh or sterile, it's radiant, forgiving, and full of promise. The goal is to bring that same feeling indoors, using lighting that doesn't just brighten a room but envelops it in atmosphere. Start with the basics, warm LED bulbs in the 2700K to 3000K range. These mimic the gentle warmth of morning sun and soften the edges of your space, especially when reflected off pastels and glossy surfaces. Then layer in ambient table lighting, lamps with frosted glass shades, tinted resin, or colored acrylic bases. The diffusion these materials create adds subtlety and softness, preventing glare and promoting visual ease. But postmodern lighting isn't just about what you use, it's about how you use it. Instead of relying on a single overhead light, build a constellation of glow points throughout the room. Backlight shelves using LED strips to add depth and drama, highlighting books, vases, or quirky art objects from behind. The effect is almost cinematic, giving each element its own moment on stage. Place fairy lights in clear vases or glass cloches for a twinkling, sculptural effect. Choose lights with copper wires or pastel casings to stay within your seasonal color palette. You might even weave them through a bookshelf or along the edge of a mirror frame for added playfulness. These tiny lights are perfect for capturing the lightness of spring without feeling overly festive or themed. Don't overlook the power of dimmers. With the ability to adjust intensity throughout the day, you can echo the changing light outside, brighter in the morning, soft and amber-toned in the evening. A softly lit corner in the late afternoon, with a mushroom lamp casting a golden pool over a curved side table, creates a cozy yet visually engaging mood. The goal is to create an atmosphere that glows, where light becomes an invisible layer of design, supporting the room's color, texture, and shape without stealing the spotlight. In a postmodern spring living room, light is not just functional. It's emotional. It enhances every curve, every color contrast, and every playful form with a kind of gentle reverence. This is the magic of thoughtful lighting. It doesn't just illuminate the room. It animates it. Lamps shaped like mushrooms, animals, or abstract sculptures don't just provide light, they bring a sense of whimsy and personality into your living room. In a postmodern spring interior, where rules are relaxed and humor is welcomed, lighting becomes an opportunity for self-expression. These lamps are not background players, they're conversation starters, sculptural objects that blur the line between art and utility. Imagine a mushroom-shaped table lamp with a glossy, pastel pink cap and a translucent base that glows softly like an enchanted toadstool. Or a lamp shaped like a dachshund, stylized and minimalist in form, casting light from its tail or collar, unexpected and charming. Abstract designs also shine here. Picture a lamp with a squiggle-shaped base or a trio of geometric spheres stacked unevenly, painted in candy-colored finishes like mint, lemon, and coral. These are not just sources of illumination, they're playful sculptures that make people smile. For a more refined but still fun approach, pair a pastel terrazzo base, with its embedded flecks of color and texture, with a wavy or frosted glass shade. The terrazzo adds an earthy, tactile contrast to the smooth glass, while still feeling vibrant and seasonal. This combination reflects the postmodern ethos of mixing high and low, organic and artificial, soft and structured. Memphis-style lamps are a perfect fit here, with their exaggerated forms, bold primary colors, and fearless combinations of materials. A zigzag floor lamp in teal and red or a polka-dot table lamp with a triangle-shaped shade can instantly transform a quiet corner into a visual punchline. These lamps are joyful and ironic, capturing the spirit of the Memphis group, design with a wink. Don't be afraid to mix styles and scales. Place a sculptural floor lamp next to a curvy pastel chair, or use a quirky mini lamp on a bold-colored bookshelf. Even a small lamp with a wavy base or cartoonish shade can inject humor into the room. In a postmodern spring space, lighting should be playful, surprising, and a little bit theatrical. It invites guests to look closer, to ask questions, to engage with the room in a more imaginative way. These unexpected pieces do more than brighten the space, they spark joy, laughter, and curiosity. Use large-scale prints featuring squiggles, grids, and intersecting forms in bold, eye-catching palettes to infuse your space with the unmistakable energy of postmodernism. These motifs, iconic in 1980s design, echo the movement's core values: playful geometry, irreverence toward tradition, and an obsession with visual rhythm. Whether you choose hand-drawn patterns or digitally rendered compositions, the effect is immediate. The room feels alive, expressive, and unafraid of standing out. These prints can come in the form of oversized posters, canvases, or screen-printed textiles, featuring a riot of color: hot pink lines weaving through teal grids, neon orange intersecting with lavender arcs, or cobalt blue triangles floating over pale peach backgrounds. These bold compositions bring contrast to the softer spring hues around them, activating pastel walls and neutral furniture with vibrancy and motion. To maximize impact, consider creating a gallery wall. Combine framed prints of varying sizes, orientations, and patterns. Mix a squiggly motif in a slim gold frame with a larger grid print in glossy white. Add a circular piece or two to break up the rectangular rhythm. You might even integrate mirrors with playful frames, graphic typography, or postmodern-style posters featuring stylized objects or exaggerated forms. The key is to embrace imbalance. Let some frames hang slightly off-center or stagger their placement to maintain that casual, collage-like feeling. Symmetry can be beautiful, but in a postmodern space, asymmetry tells a more interesting story. Think of your wall as a kind of visual jazz, structured enough to feel intentional, but full of syncopation and spontaneity. These prints don't just add color, they create dimensionality and attitude. Hung over a minimalist sideboard or behind a quirky sofa, they act as a backdrop for the rest of the room's playful drama. They're perfect for echoing the room's sculptural furniture and glossy finishes, and they add a sense of cohesion across color zones. You don't need to fill every inch of the wall. Negative space is part of the composition. Let the pieces breathe. Allow soft spring light to move across the surface, casting subtle shadows and emphasizing the interplay of form and scale. In a postmodern spring interior, wall art isn't a quiet afterthought. It's an essential character in the room, bold, humorous, sometimes strange, but always expressive. It brings dimension not only to the walls but to the spirit of the space itself. Art is a great place to experiment. Try mixing digital prints with textile art, 3D wall pieces, or painted canvases. Combine velvet cushions with pattern throws to strike the perfect balance between tactile comfort and visual excitement. Velvet, with its rich texture and subtle sheen, adds instant softness and depth, an ideal partner for spring's light-filled days. Choose pastel shades like blush pink, mint, or sky blue to stay rooted in the seasonal palette, then layer them with bolder, contrasting elements for that unmistakable postmodern twist. Drape a squiggly pattern throw across the back of a sofa, letting its lines dance against the structured upholstery. Or toss a checkerboard blanket in bright coral and white over a soft yellow armchair for a bold dose of energy. These prints bring a kind of visual motion to the room, like patterns in bloom, while the textures invite touch and comfort. It's a perfect metaphor for spring itself, softness with vibrancy, relaxation with revival. For seating, go beyond standard textures and try buccal armchairs or poufs. Their looped, nubby fabric offers an almost cloud-like feel, cozy, tactile, and inviting. Buccaless organic texture provides a beautiful counterpoint to the artificial glossiness often found in postmodern furniture. Pair it with angular or eccentric patterns, grids, zigzags, or pixel-like forms to heighten the contrast between material and motif. Color plays an important role too. Match a dusty lavender velvet cushion with a tangerine squiggle print throw. Try a mint green buccal armchair beside a chunky knit blanket in pale peach. The goal is to let contrast create harmony, smooth against rough, matte against shine, soft curves against sharp patterns. This tension is what gives a postmodern spring interior its distinctive energy. These layers also allow for a fluid, ever-changing room. Swap out cushions or throws as the season deepens. Add new patterns. Mix different textures. Postmodern interiors don't demand rigid consistency, they celebrate evolution and eclecticism. In this meeting of spring's softness and postmodern dynamism, textiles become more than comfort. They become expression. They tell the story of a space that's playful, tactile, and fully alive. Even your window treatments can get involved. Consider patterned sheer curtains that let the sunlight filter through in whimsical ways. Rugs anchor the room, but in a postmodern spring interior, they do much more than that. They become playful centerpieces and visual exclamation points. Far from being a background element, the rug can act as a statement piece, drawing the eye down and tying the entire aesthetic together from the ground up. This is your chance to introduce bold patterns, unexpected forms, and expressive color in a way that feels grounded, literally. Look for rugs with bright stripes, geometric shapes, or oversized squiggles that mimic the movement and irreverence of postmodern motifs. A rug that combines cobalt zigzags, peach dots, and chartreuse lines may sound chaotic on paper, but in a spring setting, framed by pastel walls and sculptural furniture, it feels alive and electric. These prints inject motion into the space, even when everything is still. Bold color blocking is another striking option, especially when it comes in irregular or asymmetrical cuts. Picture a rug shaped like a kidney bean, a jagged polygon, or a warped oval, its unusual silhouette echoing the Memphis group's love for defying straight lines and grids. These forms break the monotony of rectangular rooms, adding a sense of spontaneity and fun that's perfect for spring's breezy mood. Don't shy away from scale. A generously sized rug can help define zones within an open-plan space, whether it's carving out a conversation nook beneath a curved sofa or stretching under a modular shelving unit to create a visual anchor. Conversely, a series of smaller rugs, layered or scattered, can add rhythm and variation, each one introducing its own texture or pattern into the mix. Material matters, too. While wool or tufted rugs provide plush softness underfoot, consider rugs with looped pile, woven graphics, or sculptural carving that add texture as well as pattern. The tactile nature of these rugs enhances the contrast between softness and visual dynamism. A perfect mirror of spring's duality, comfort with energy, lightness with impact. A good rug doesn't just cushion your steps, it grounds all the visual energy above it. It acts as a canvas, allowing your quirky lighting, glossy tables, and patterned textiles to float without chaos. It organizes the room visually, but in a way that still feels bold and unafraid. In a postmodern spring space, let your rug be more than functional, let it be fun, expressive, and full of personality. Spring is about rebirth, growth, and the return of vitality after the dormancy of winter, and plants are the most immediate way to bring that seasonal energy indoors. They infuse your living space with life, movement, and a hint of the natural world, all while complementing the playful spirit of postmodern design. But in this context, greenery isn't just an afterthought, it becomes part of the room's visual language. Start with bold, expressive planters that feel like design pieces in their own right. Choose glossy orange pots, bubblegum pink stands, or lime green ceramic vessels, anything with a saturated hue and a bit of personality. These planters act as sculptural accents, echoing the room's larger palette while giving your greenery a lively, modern stage to grow from. A soft green monstera deliciosa in a cobalt blue cylinder planter? Visually stunning. A rubber tree in a pastel terrazzo pedestal pot? Totally postmodern. Don't just place your plants randomly. Compose them with intent, just as you would furniture or art. Group them in odd numbers, 3, 5, or 7, for a more casual and organic effect. Odd groupings feel less rigid and more dynamic, especially when combined with varying heights and forms. Place a tall palm in a floor planter beside a medium-sized philodendron on a stool, and add a trailing pothose on a nearby shelf. This vertical layering creates rhythm, a visual up and down motion that keeps the eye moving and adds depth to the space. Think of your plant arrangement as part of the room's architecture. A tall, leafy plant can frame a curved chair or accentuate a gallery wall. Smaller potted plants can soften the edge of a neon light fixture or add natural balance to a glossy coffee table. The juxtaposition between organic forms and artificial materials, a flowing fern next to a wavy acrylic lamp, captures the exact kind of playful tension that defines both spring and postmodernism. You can even mix in unexpected materials for your planters: colored lucite boxes, chrome-finished stands, patterned ceramics, or repurposed objects like painted metal buckets or translucent plastic bowls. These offbeat vessels feel right at home in a room that celebrates color, humor, and irreverent charm. Ultimately, plants give the space breath. They act as a soft counterpoint to all the vibrant prints and shiny surfaces, grounding the room in life and movement. In a postmodern spring interior, Greenery doesn't just decorate, it narrates. It tells the story of new growth, fresh starts, and joyful expression. The goal in a postmodern spring interior is to balance bold form with natural ease, to let nature soften design's sharp edges, and let design give structure to nature's wildness. It's not about choosing between the organic and the artificial, but about creating harmony through contrast. Place a deep green rubber plant beside a geometric table lamp in bold red or cobalt. The plant's flowing leaves temper the lamp's rigid lines, while the lamp, in turn, gives the scene a sculptural anchor. Position a tall, spiky snake plant beneath a wavy mirror with a pastel acrylic frame. The sharp verticals of the plant mirror the mirror's undulating curves, creating a dialogue between the real and the abstract. These moments, where living greenery meets design's expressive edge, are what make postmodern spring decor feel truly layered and alive. But you don't have to stop with real plants. Embrace the postmodern love for irony and play by introducing representational elements too. Hang a mobile made from pastel-painted wooden shapes or cut paper flowers near a vase of real tulips or daffodils. The juxtaposition feels surreal and joyful, almost like a wink to the viewer. It's an invitation to wonder, what's real? What's crafted? Does it matter? These decorative gestures blur the boundary between natural and stylized, between authentic growth and playful interpretation. A bouquet of fresh blooms on a laminate pedestal next to a vase of painted ceramic flowers tells a story not just of spring, but of the creative urge to mimic, reinterpret, and celebrate nature through design. Postmodernism embraces this ambiguity. It's not interested in perfect realism, nor in total abstraction. It lives in the in-between, where a rubber plant and a squiggle lamp can coexist, each amplifying the presence of the other. It's about balance, not symmetry. Nature brings softness, breath, and rhythm to a room full of eccentric objects and saturated color. In turn, these bold forms elevate the plants from decoration to part of the composition. By integrating both living greenery and stylized representations, you create a layered interior that feels animated, curated, and totally unique, a reflection not only of the season's energy but of your own playful sensibility. forget balance in the traditional sense. In a postmodern spring living room, symmetry is optional, playful tension is the goal. The room shouldn't feel like it was measured with a ruler, it should feel like it was composed with intuition, spontaneity, and a touch of irreverence. This isn't about perfection, it's about personality. Start with a simple scene, a lamp placed deliberately off-center on a console table. Where conventional design might demand symmetry, this small rebellion draws the eye, making the negative space feel intentional and the composition more dynamic. Pair it with a vase of fresh spring tulips on the opposite end, or even a small abstract sculpture that visually balances without mirroring. A gallery wall that cascades unevenly, with prints of different sizes, orientations, and frame colors, feels more like an art installation than a grid. Let one piece hang lower than the rest, or place a circular mirror slightly off-kilter amidst square frames. The asymmetry creates movement, like a visual melody that doesn't resolve in a neat chord but still feels satisfying. Even furniture can join in the dance. Instead of matching armchairs on either side of your coffee table, try two different chairs. One might be a pastel buccal tub chair, the other a lacquered tubular seat in a bright teal. They may differ in color, shape, and material, but together they spark contrast and conversation. It's a deliberate mismatch that reflects the eclectic, expressive heart of postmodernism. Layer in details like stacked books in uneven piles, a rug positioned slightly askew, or a floating shelf with one end carrying more visual weight. These gestures break predictability, offering surprise without chaos. Asymmetry isn't about disorder, it's about letting the space breathe in unexpected ways. It creates tension not through conflict, but through curiosity. It asks the viewer to look twice, to engage, to question, and to smile. In this kind of environment, every object feels like it has its own voice, its own role to play in a quirky but harmonious whole. In the postmodern spring home, balance comes not from mirroring, but from motion, contrast, and delight. Tap into your inner designer and make your own squiggle painting. Grab a large canvas, a few tubes of acrylic paint in spring tones like mint, blush, lemon, and sky blue, and just start drawing bold, looping lines. Let your hand be loose, let the shapes be irregular. This is about play, not precision. Add a splash of teal here, a pop of magenta there. Layer thick strokes with delicate dashes. It's expressive, it's vibrant, and most importantly, it's yours. When you hang it up, it won't just be art, it'll be a reflection of your energy. Want something more dimensional? Take sheets of colorful foam board or sturdy cardboard and cut them into quirky shapes. Think triangles, squiggles, semicircles, and lightning bolts. Mount them directly onto the wall or layer them onto a backing panel to create a postmodern-inspired wall sculpture. Use contrasting colors and finishes, matte coral beside glossy lilac, or speckled yellow next to teal stripes. The more playful the arrangement, the better. It's graphic. It's sculptural. It's an installation. You can even use leftover materials from around your home. Collect fabric scraps, florals, stripes, polka dots, checkerboards, and stitch or glue them together into a patchwork art piece. Mount it on a frame or stretch it over a wooden board for instant texture and color. Choose patterns and colors that clash just enough to feel deliberate. Bonus: this project adds warmth and softness to a room full of slick, hard-edged postmodern furniture. These DIY projects don't require perfection, they thrive on personality and imperfection. They allow you to be the artist, the curator, and the rule breaker all at once. And when placed in your spring living room, surrounded by playful lighting, curvy furniture, and potted plants in neon planters, they add a unique charm that no store-bought item can replicate. Postmodernism is about turning the everyday into something expressive. With just a canvas, scissors, glue, or thread, you're not just decorating, you're creating meaning. These personal pieces carry your mark, your palette, your humor, and that's what makes them glow. And that's a wrap on this episode of Charette Theory. In Spring Living Room Glow, we explored how the vibrant energy of spring can meet the expressive spirit of postmodern design. From playful colors to sculptural lighting, quirky furniture to DIY art, your living room can become a canvas for joy, personality, and seasonal charm. If this episode sparked some inspiration, don't forget to like the video, leave a comment sharing your favorite postmodern spring decor idea, and subscribe to Charette Theory for more creative interiors that celebrate design with heart. And if you're feeling extra bold, hit that notification bell so you never miss a new drop. Until next time, stay bold, stay bright, and keep designing with heart. Thanks for watching.